Assalamualaikum dear students, welcome to Ford Public School e-learning class 8. This is your chemistry subject and you're learning chapter number 2, that is structure of atom, and I'm your teacher Yamna Khan. So the topic that we are going to discuss today is Niels Bohr's atomic theory. Take out page number 45 of your book and today we'll start our topic, that is Niels Bohr's atomic theory. So in 1913, underline the date, Niels Bohr presented a new atomic theory to overcome the defects of Rutherford's atomic model that were discussed in the previous video. Bohr considered hydrogen atom as a model. So बोहर ने हाइड्रोजन एटम को एज अ मॉडल लिया और अपने सारे assumptions उसी के बेसिस पे उसने एक्सप्लेन किए. The atomic model was based on the following assumptions. So the first assumption or the postulate is electrons are revolving around the nucleus in one of the fixed circular paths called shells or orbits. Each orbit has a fixed energy. These orbits are also called energy levels. For example, here we have a particular atom. हम कोई भी atom choose कर सकते हैं. I'll explain you where are the energy levels. These are the energy levels, as you can see. They are also called shells or they are also called orbits. 3 names Bohr ने इसको दिए हैं. Moving on to the next point, the energy of an electron in an orbit is proportional to its distance from the nucleus. Further the electron, further means दूर from the nucleus, the higher will be the energy and vice versa. Vice versa का मतलब कि इसके बरक्स भी ऐसा ही होता है. So we can explain the second point like this. Energy of an electron is directly proportional. This is the sign of direct proportionality to the distance from the nucleus. Direct proportionality का मतलब होता है कि जितना ये ज़्यादा होगा उतना ये भी ज़्यादा होगा. अगर ये कम होगा तो ये भी कम होगा. As you can see here, greater the distance, greater will be the energy, or smaller the distance, lower will be the energy. So this direct proportionality shows that if this is greater, this will be greater. If this is lower, this will be lower as well. So as you can see, greater the distance from the nucleus, greater will be the energy. So इस electron की energy ज़्यादा होगी. Lower the distance, if you can see here, so that is why this electron will be having lower energy. Now moving on to the third point, that is, as long as electrons are revolving around the nucleus in fixed circular orbits, they do not gain or lose energy. Energy of an orbit is fixed. हर एक ऑर्बिट की और शेल की अपनी एनर्जी होती है और इसमें जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स भी हैं उनकी अपनी एनर्जी है जो कि फ़िक्स होती है, और जब तक वो अपने ही शेल में रिवॉल्व कर रहे हैं ना तो एनर्जी लूज़ करते हैं ना ही वो एनर्जी गेन करते हैं. The next one is when an electron jumps from higher energy orbit to lower energy orbit, it radiates energy, and when it jumps from lower energy orbit to higher energy orbit, it absorbs energy. How? So we said that if the electron jumps from the higher energy level to the lower energy level, if it jumps from higher energy level to the lower energy level, it will radiate the energy. Like this, if it moves downward, it is going to release the energy or radiate the energy. Why? Because it is having higher energy. Higher energy है इसकी, और जब ये lower energy level पे आएगा तो higher energy के लिए, lower energy के लिए it needs to release the extra energy to adjust in the lower energy level. Similarly, if the electron in the lower energy orbit moves to the higher energy orbit, it needs to absorb extra energy because this electron is having low energy. So higher energy orbit में adjust करने के लिए, क्योंकि इसकी energy ज़्यादा है, so वो extra energy वो absorb कर लेगा. When it absorbs the energy, it will be easy for this electron to adjust in the higher energy orbit. So the electron, as long as they are revolving in its own path, they do not lose or gain the energy. But when it moves from the higher energy orbit to lower, it radiates energy, and when it moves from lower to higher energy orbit, it absorbs the energy. So here we have the energy difference between the two levels, which is given by delta E. Delta is for the difference, and E2 minus E1, which is equal to h nu. This is called nu, which is used for the frequency. So if you want to find out the difference between the two energy levels, you can easily find out with this formula, where you can see h is the Planck's constant, nu is the used for the frequency, E1 is the lower energy orbit, E2 is the higher energy orbit, and delta E is used for the difference of energy. The next point is electrons can reside in any one of the orbits and cannot stay in between them. जितने भी इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं वो सिर्फ और सिर्फ अपने शेल्स में और अपने पाथ्स में ही रह सकते हैं. द इलेक्ट्रॉन कैन नॉट रिसाइड ओवर हियर इन बिटवीन द एनर्जी लेवल्स. This is not possible for an electron to reside in between any two energy levels. The next point is angular momentum, that is MVR of an electron is an integral multiple of h divided by 2 pi. So MVR is equal to n h divided by 2 pi. Let me explain what is angular momentum. So to understand what is angular momentum, first we need to learn what is momentum. Momentum is actually the quantity of motion. कि किसी भी चीज़ में, for example, there is a fan और वो movement कर रहा है, motion कर रहा है. So we would say what is the motion or the quantity of motion in the fan. So that would be the momentum of the fan. That is equal to P is equal to mv. Then there are two types of momentum, that is linear momentum and angular momentum. But here we'll only be needing the angular momentum. Why? Because angular momentum is quantity of motion in circular path. Momentum is quantity of motion and angular momentum is quantity of motion in circular path. So as we are talking about the electrons, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus in circular path and their orbits, that is why we'll only take the angular momentum, not the linear momentum. So there is a difference in the formula. You can see P is equal to mv, that is for the momentum, and here we have P is equal to mvr. R is added for the radius. So here we are saying that angular momentum, angular for the rotation, you have already seen the definition. MVR of an electron is an integral multiple of h divided by 2 pi. Integral, you already know that what are integers. Integers are numbers, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to so on. So that is represented by n. So if you see here, I've written it in the more simple form. You can see MVR, that is the angular momentum. So angular momentum is an integral multiple, which is shown by n multiply of h divided by 2 pi. So we can say that integral multiple of h divided by 2 pi. So this is the formula. If you want to find out the angular momentum, you can easily put the values in this. N would be the number of shell in which the electrons are revolving, and you could put the value of h, that is Planck's constant, and 2 pi. The Planck's constant value is given on the next page. You can easily put the values and you can find out the angular momentum of any orbit, and you can find out the motion of the electron in that orbit. Come to the next page. So here we have n, that is the number of shells, 1, 2, 3, 4 up to so on. M is the mass of the electron. V is the velocity of the electron. R is the radius of the orbit in which the electron is revolving, and h is the Planck's constant, and its value is already given over here. So you can easily put the values and find out the angular momentum of any electrons revolving in the orbit. This is Bohr's atomic model. You can see that there is a nucleus in between and there are different shells. He gave these shell the numbers 1, 2, 3 up to so on, that is n. And they were given the names K, L, M, N up to so on. The orbit defined by Bohr is also called shell or an energy level. You already read it in the first postulate. These are represented by the alphabets K, L, M, N up to so on. These are the names of these orbits. The electrons present in K shell, N is equal to 1, as N is the number of shell. And if you are talking about the K shell, that is the first one shell, 1. Have the least energy and it is nearest to the nucleus. As you have already read that smaller the distance, smaller will be the energy. So K is nearest to the nucleus, so that is why it will be having the lowest energy. Then there comes L and then M. So M is far away from the nucleus, the distance is greater, so greater will be the energy of the M orbit. Now L shell and N is equal to 2, you can see here, is the next shell and which is higher in energy, and then K shell and so on. So this was Bohr's atomic theory, and you can already see the atomic model of Bohr's atom. Now let's move on to the next page, that is page number 47. Here we have fundamental particles of an atom. Modern research showed that an atom consists of many subatomic particles. Three subatomic particles, proton, neutron and electron, are very important to the chemists. वैसे हमारे पास सब एटॉमिक पार्टिकल्स जो हैं वो काफ़ी सारे हैं, लेकिन जो केमिस्ट्री में हमारे पास इम्पॉर्टेंट हैं दैट आर प्रोटॉन्स, न्यूट्रॉन्स एंड इलेक्ट्रॉन्स विच वी कैन सी हेयर. These particles are the fundamental particles. Fundamental means bunyadi. Now the first one particle is the electron. Electron is a negatively charged particle. You already know that it is having a negative charge. The next is its mass is equal to 0.000548597 AMU. Underline this. This is the mass of an electron in AMU, and here we have the mass of an electron in kgs. That is 9.11 into 10 to the power minus 31. So underline both of them. The charge of an electron is 1.6022 into 10 raised to the power minus 19 coulomb with a negative sign. So this is the charge of an electron, but you have to put a negative sign to show that this is the charge of an electron. The electrons are very light, small particles which revolve around the nucleus in the orbits. You can see that the electrons are revolving around the nucleus in fixed circular paths that are called shells, energy levels or orbits. The next one is proton. Proton is a positively charged particle. It is having a positive sign. Its mass is equal to 1.0072766 AMU. Underline this. This is the mass of a proton in AMUs, and here we have the mass of the proton in kgs. That is 1.6726 into 10 to the power minus 27 kgs. Now, charge of the proton is 1.6022 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb with a positive sign. Here you can see that the charge of the electron and proton both are same, but the only difference lies in the sign, that is the negative sign and the positive sign. Proton is 1837 times heavier than an electron. We have already read that electrons are very small light particles, so protons are heavier as compared to the electrons. Protons are present in the nucleus of an atom. You can see that, which is denoted by P+. So these are the protons which reside inside this nucleus. The next subatomic particle is the neutron. Neutron is a neutral particle because it has no charge. Its mass is equal to 1.0086654 AMU. Again, underline this. This is the mass in AMUs and this is the mass in kilograms. Now, neutron is 1842 times heavier than an electron. Neutrons are present in the nucleus of an atom. You can see that neutrons are present here with the protons inside the nucleus. So on the next page we have the table which are showing the particles, that is electron, proton and neutron with their symbols. You can see here neutron is having no charge, and then their charges -1, +1 and 0 with no charge. And then you can see here there the charge in coulomb and relative atomic mass in AMUs and mass in kilograms. So this was the end of the lecture. We'll be discussing electronic configuration in the next video. I hope you understood the lecture well. Thank you. Stay home. Stay safe.